Lifestealer. How Lifestealer.
He was such a rock in that game. Like,
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, he had a
was
really
so
terrible early
important.
game.
I think it comes down to how, though, more than just how's lifesteal. He activates so well on every carry he plays very early on in the game, like way before 15 minutes, sometimes even before 10 minutes. He just is there and kills a lot of people. And that's what I love about when they draft that Weaver, they could go back towards that as well. Something they did a lot before.
Looks like
We're
we
in the draft.
actually have a draft. It's game number 2 of Newbee versus Liquid. Let's get underway here. Looks like Newbee had dibs for first pick. This comes after they ban the Oracle and Elder Titan. For Liquid, they get rid of the Wisp and the Drow Ranger.
Why would they ban the Drow Ranger? I haven't Newbee seen. Like, they didn't run it a lot, right?
Do Liquid take SD here in this space? Because right now the Batbearer got picked.
I mean,
they have
every
to, right?
team counted, yeah. But they get like a really premier combo. SD, Mirana, we spoke about last game. You have the first pick Mirana, you always want to block pick with a Shadow Demon. Now they get both, and also a Bedrider counter right off the bat.
Got to make sure they don't fall short. I mean, already these two, we know not to be big on the objective follow-up. I hope Liquid don't draft themselves into like a more singular discipline, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they should definitely draft heroes that can take objectives. You want to have that like one. It's probably gonna be Mirana middle, so you want to have that offlane hero like a Prophet. You want to have a carry like a Lycan, like a TB that can really take objectives. Oh, and is like really good with Shadow Demon. Like the biggest weakness of Shadow Demon is the weak laning phase that he really has. Like, let's say like a Sven plus Shadow Demon, what we saw before, is like a really weak lane, but once you actually transition out of the laning phase, that hero becomes a monster.
I actually disagray. I think SD is a strong laner. Even if his song got punished last game, it was because the Kunkka played so well. I feel there was so much done with it. But I think SD actually has the potential to either go ganking in the laning phase or just shut down a lane pretty hard with a disruption, denying so many aggressive moves. But I wonder what they're going to go for with it here. You have so many different paths you can take. When you have SD Mirana as your opening, you really don't say too much about your lineup, right?
Yeah, it can be like a safe lane Mirana, mid Mirana, could still be an off lane Mirana too, and I can pick the Kunkka again. Like, we don't know what they have up the sleeves.
Jungle Mirana.
Could be like a position 4 roaming Mirana, but that Juggernaut pick is really, really good against both those heroes. Like, he's kind of just immune against both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. But if you get the disruption though, and the arrow is perfectly timed, then you can't even spin out of it.
Yeah,
so that is a kill potential that they have. You just need to make sure nothing is blocking the arrow on the way in.
But it's like really, really hard to time, because if it's like a bit too far up front or a bit too far behind, then you can actually spin.
Yeah, with the pressure, it could be really hard. You need to have the arrow be on top of the disruption when he comes out of it. So you definitely need to know your Mirana.
We see the Luna ban from Newbee. Obviously, Shadow Demon Luna is like a very sick combination.
Yeah, but there's still so many different things you can pick for an SD to clone here. So while you get rid of it, Luna, it's probably just because it's that's the toughest one, but you might still get something like Terrorblade, like you mentioned earlier.
You can never ban out a Shadow Demon combo. There's like way too many heroes. Like, my personal favorite is Morphling. Morphling against those two heroes is super good. Matumba Man loves playing his Morphling, and we could maybe see like that pick later, because it usually slips like through people's minds because it doesn't have the great success here.
I like this approach by Liquid. They ban out the Naga in the second phase. They just go like, okay, they can split push really hard when they have the Naga. Let's just try and avoid getting the same thing happening to us as last game. And I don't think Newbee will have a natural hero that they can do the same thing with. So now Newbee has to change up their play.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Well,
There's still a Kunkka available for Liquid too. They didn't really ban it out, and I think now that they have the SD on their side, is actually a much more potent combination. The perfect position 5 for Kuro. I haven't seen Newbee's ban yet.
Axe.
Why Axe? Just scared about laning versus Jug? Or?
They're going for Huskar.
I think they're scared of the disruption. Like, disruption arrow is extremely hard to combo, right? But if you disrupt Juggernaut even, and then he comes out and spins, Axe could still be there and just call you. You're not running away. So I think it's just about holding people down. They're scared of this.
Yeah, and on top of you still have the Axe disruption illusions who can just like push out lanes really easily.
Sure.
They do go back for the Sanking again.
Yeah.
Really good with it, like both Shadow Demon and Mirana. Like, it's just like all around solid pick.
Mind control was a monster. In the last game, in the first 9 kills that Liquid had, he had been in every single kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, they played really well around the Sanking. And I love the fact that they go, hey, we didn't do too much wrong in the early game. Let's try and just analyze what went wrong and approach it differently.
I really think it was just that they drafted themselves into like a little corner where they have to make sure to execute perfectly, or they're actually just gonna flat out lose.
I honestly think the itemization hurt them a lot in the last game though, so maybe they need to think about that as well.
It was a good draft, just not a good anti-Naga draft.
Yeah.
Do you think Liquid picking up the Sand King, do they have it within them to have that option where if Newbee pulls something out and they want to have like a melee core mid lane, we could see them try to pair up the Sand King in that sense where they can dominate at that point?
They can always they have Matamba Man's hero open. They run Timbersaw on him quite often, so they don't really need to move the Sand King around. Yeah. They don't have to, that is.
I think Mind Control is going to be playing the Sand King again.
Yeah.
After that game, he looks very comfortable on it.
Yeah, really confident on the hero. What do we have for Matamba Man? There's Ursa, there's Anti-Mage, there's Morphling as we said before.
The Slark was not banned out.
Slark is really good, yeah. He started that Moonshard Slark build.
Yeah, he started a lot of interesting stuff. He's a very curious player, Matumba.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of interesting stuff up his sleeve.
Same thing with Anti-Mage, right? The Moonshard early on, was he the one who started that?
That was CTY.
Yeah, CTY started.
Yeah.
He was popularizing it in the Western scene very quickly as well, though.
Oh, he was, yeah.
Immediately.
And he was like, oh, CTY does this, let me just try this on another hero, and then he just like, does it on every hero.
Moonshards, man.
Newbee transition into their next support grab, which is going to be a Disruptor. They're one of the few teams that still continue to pull this guy out. For most, they kind of still continue to neglect him and throw him on the side.
Disruptor is very good against Mirana and Sand King, not so much against Shadow Demon though, because if you get glimpsed back and you actually get disrupted at the right time, you won't get glimpsed.
Yeah, you can protect. And I liked the Disruptor suggestion last game when they had Naga. Now, I guess it's still good with Batrider. The combination is very nice. Being able to pull them back and then Batrider takes care of them, or even the other way around. Just Batrider grabbing someone and then you ulti them with.
What's really nice as well is kind of like a Void Batrider. You can create it like wall where the enemy team can't pass, and you just pull one like enemy away and you separate them.
Yeah.
A small thing too is he can instantly kill SD illusions, although Lion much more preferred to that. He does still have that small upside.
Yeah.
Does going in for the Disruptor prevent any of those Matamba Man picks you were calling out before?
Slark mostly.
I mean, Slark gets hard countered by Disruptor. Until he gets BKB, I guess. Yeah. Like after his BKB, then Disruptor is just like a dead fish to him.
It's also a matter of how much you can outplay your opponent. I think you're still confident playing Slark in this game. It's good against Batrider in many ways, as long as you don't feel you're gonna get vision. Oh, they're going for the Morphling instead.
Yeah.
That is also super strong.
I mean, Morph SD is just, you reach that minute 30 mark where Morph has like 300 agility, you disrupt him, and your base literally just dies in 1 second.
The SD illusions have like solo killed, I believe. Wasn't that against? That was against Newbee as well.
Yeah,
it was Tron, he was dying, yeah.
A 6-dollar lifesteal died to 2 disruption illusions of Morphling.
Yeah, this brings back some nightmares for Tron and How, I think, because that Morphling. Scary stuff with SD.
So what counters Morphling? I think the only one that's really talked about is AA, but is there any aside from that?
Elder Titan.
ET's first band.
I think, like, obviously Anti-Mage is really good, but you can't pick right now because we have Juggernaut already. Like, from the mid heroes, what really counters Morphling?
I don't know, it's hard to say into Newbee's drafts. Generally, I would say the Invoker is pretty good. You could go Quas Vex, but even with the next one Invoker, eventually you get strong against it.
I mean, I guess he's decent, but not really like a solution to Morphling.
Not to Dream, right?
Morphling's actually really good against him too. Like, he gets his E-Blade, you get that Soul Catcher on him, he actually just explodes.
I suppose the Lotus Orb is good. At least many people go for the Lotus Orb on Timbersaw. That's going to be nice against Morphling, SD, Sand King.
So we see like 3 cores, I guess. 2 support heroes that are like very, very good right now would be either Rubik or the AA. Like, Disruptor AA is not terribly good, not terribly bad. It's like
they battled the Lion Liquid here, so they don't want to play against the Lion. Of course, that could take care of the illusions a lot. And again, Liquid with the SD Morphling late game is just illusion hell.
But yeah, one thing we didn't speak about before, you can't Manta style and replicate your own illusions as Morphling, but if you disrupt him, then you can actually replicate that Morphling, and you have like a super strong Morphling replicate.
It's tanky and it lasts for a long time, but it deals like no damage compared to SD ones though.
Oh, yeah.
The SD ones are monsters.
The SD ones are a boss, but you can like push out 3 lanes at once with just illusions.
I think Newbee should be pretty happy to go for an AA actually.
AA
I don't know. Maybe Dazzle even.
It's AA or Rubik if you want to be a bit more aggressive. Like AA is the more defensive approach, I think.
Sure. It's a good Rubik game.
Yeah. Like Sand King or Chen. I was gonna ask, what do you think about the Chen in the crowd? There was like a dude.
Yeah, he failed to bring in the creeps. He must have left them at the door. Yeah, he must have been inspired.
Maybe
he's inspired.
He went the Dagon build.
Ah, yes.
Solo mid Chen, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the Chen Juggernaut is really strong. There we got him.
There's
Chen,
Yeah, it's my time.
But yeah, like Newbee going for like a pretty push-heavy strategy. Morphling needs some time to get online. Like we spoke about the like 25-30 minute mark when he gets really strong, and they want to end the game before that.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also pretty strong base defense by Liquid right now. You have the wave clear from Mirana SD, and then you have the full commitment team fight. Is so close always. When tanking has a blink, he could jump you. Well, we'll see here. It's pretty hard to play Chen against tanking, I feel.
It is really hard.
I can't help but bring up a similar point than what I said earlier with Newbee's draft right now. Is it likely this Timber is going to be in the mid lane? Because I don't know if Liquid could throw the Sand King around or not, but they actually finished with an Undying grab here.
That is interesting.
Fun stuff. Well, there's our draft, gentlemen. Impressions before we send things over?
Liquid's, I think, slightly a favorite. I really like the Morphling from the Chen pick. It seemed like it was, they like tried to disguise it. They had the Juggernaut for the push, but Timbersaw not really that good at breaching high ground. I think they might suffer the same that Liquid had last game.
Yeah, I think they just forced something on them that they really shouldn't have. So I actually think I favor Liquid here.
I feel last game was much more of an outdraft where Newbee had the edge. Right here it's pretty even, but I guess Liquid has a slight edge. It's just really volatile though. Undying in the early game, if he succeeds, then maybe Newbee can just take it. But if he fails, then yeah, he becomes so useless so quickly.
10 seconds
We'll
remaining.
see which team will succeed and which will fail as we send things over. It's game number 2. We throw it to our casters now. It's Odie Pixel and Draskell.
Thank you very much, Dakota. Indeed, game 2 between Newbee and Liquid just about to begin. They've switched stuff up this time. Liquid obviously a game down as they head into this one. And Liquid with a bit of kind of an eHome-esque strat. They've got 4 of the same heroes they did yesterday. Obviously 4 very relevant in the meta. The SD, the Sand King, that combination that we've seen eHome be able to execute perfectly. We're going to expect to see a similar performance from Liquid as these guys, they work perfectly as a team. They've got the Undying as well. This is exactly what eHome had yesterday against Alliance, and it worked perfectly. Is it going to work as good here for Liquid?
I mean, I'm with the panel on this one. I really feel I really feel that Liquid's lineup is quite a bit better. I mean, especially during the late game, they have a little bit of illusion clear, I suppose, with the Timber Saw, but everything else considered, we saw what those illusions can do to even the most farmed cores. So I'm assuming it's going to be even worse in this situation for Newbee.
You see Liquid already with their positioning down here to get the ward down behind the tower.
To battle.
See if they can find anything in terms of a pick, but well, nothing's going to happen at the moment. Newbee keeping themselves back. But as you said, overall, you prefer the way that Liquid's drafted this time round, and does it give them a little bit more flexibility in terms of timings as well? We obviously saw in the first game, they were able to secure a very convincing early game, but they were just unable to convert that into a strong high ground push.
No, I think that Liquid definitely have amazing hack run potential this game, because all you have to do is just disrupt the Morphling and then you just hit objectives. It's very straightforward. So for Newbee, they're the ones who really need to apply pressure. Like this Chen last pick, this has to do a tremendous amount of work. Like, you know, either pressure mid, pressure the safe lane, just try to get something going as fast as you possibly can. So I'm hoping for Twan's sake that he can perform.
Lane-wise from both sides, looks to be standard stuff apart from the fact that down on the bottom, of course, Undying will be hanging around with the mind control.
I like this swap actually, like putting the Timber Saw on this lane. Like Undying during the early game, like obviously he wants to drop like Tombstone and fight under it. If you have like a lot of points into reactive armor, the Timber Saw is not really going to care that much, and plus it's double melee, so you know that your Whirling Death and whatnot are going to be much more effective. So putting the Juggernaut down here I think would have been a much harder matchup for the Jug than it would be for the Timber.
Especially with the fact that move does have Twan backing him up on Disruptor, so maybe, as you said, even kill potential if Liquid get themselves out of position. Of course, that leaves the other lanes. This matchup in the middle lane, House Jug, with Fada on the Mirana once again, as we saw, of course, Fada in game 1 playing this hero. And this matchup, again, fairly even for both. You don't see either of them going down unless Fada hits an arrow from a good position.
Yeah, the arrow is the only way you get a kill here. If anything, I think Newbee might be favored slightly in the middle lane just because if Twan wants to run over there with a creep and just be annoying, he can do that. And Fata is not really going to have any help because Cherax is going to be doing, I think, some pulling and stacking in his side of the woods. But it really just depends on where Twan wants to pressure. If he leaves us alone in a strict 1v1, both heroes just farm.
You see Twan already making the movement up top, bringing some creeps around. No, it's just a couple of skeletons. Nothing going to happen there unless you can just check out around the pull point, seeing if anything's going down on the side of Liquid. It's not going to be the case though, as both members of Liquid, the Timberman and Jax in lane, just coming in with a satire, spam the purple walls, keeping the Timberman back. And indeed, he's got to be careful. Have 4 stacks of the napalm on him as well, keeping himself out of harm's way. But Chuan just getting the most out of this. He's got a couple of more blasts left in the tank, so he'll stick around. He's hit a couple, and is he not going to drop the third one? There we go. There's the third one. And Timberman does still claim the gold and an XP, of course, from it.
Still got some pretty good value out of that. What was that, 3 shockwaves? Not too bad.
Yeah, 3 shockwaves down onto. One more down bottom. We'll see Moo just salve himself up there. Harassment from Mind Control with the caustic finale, causing a little bit of an issue for the Timber in these earlier stages. Not going to be enough to get the kill though. Because ECS-wise, the lane is going very nicely for Mind Control. He's 15 for 3. So we're certainly seeing that the Newbee are unable to pressure this Sand King, especially with the backup of KuroKy on the Undying. Liquid seems to be doing very well on this bottom.
Sand King's actually just like OP. This hero just lanes so well against a lot of the stuff that's commonly picked here at TI. And when you put him in this aggressive position, you're laning against another melee, it doesn't matter what support you're with, like he's gonna get farmed.
Top lane, see them moving in onto KP. He has got the Firefly. Disruption to set it up. Oh, the burst is enough. Liquid getting themselves first blood for the Timberman and his Morphling. Great way for them to start the game. And Timberman, he's going to be happy with that kill as well. As we can see, 15 for 3. He was certainly being slowed down a little bit by the presence at the back. We're going to free up a bit more space for him. Back over towards the mid lane. How? 18 for 2. Carter still has the edge. 22 for 4. So pretty much as close as we expected this to be, especially with the fact that Chuan yet to make a rotation towards the mid with the Chen army. He's just picked up a smoke, and we may indeed see that change if he wants to try and make a move somewhere on the map now.
I mean, he buys the smoke, but he doesn't really have the best creeps for ganking. That's the problem. I mean, maybe he can pressure bottom a bit, give the Moo Timber some breathing room. Kuro's been making his way over for the 4-minute rune as well. I think he might, yeah, he's going to beat Chuan there. He's even going to scout out the rotation as well. So nice stuff, again, from Liquid here in the early game in game number 2.
I mean, Chuan, as you said, with these movements around, where do you imagine we are going to see him head for? Where's the easiest place for Chuan to make a play on the Chen?
Like, killing mid is actually pretty hard unless you can force out a leap, so I don't think he would be going there. I think the easiest place to have impact is either helping the Batrider or helping bottom.
You can see already, Liquid, they're going to be the first ones to try and jump in on Moo. Kaka, responding, dropping down the field. KuroKy's just going to walk himself out of it though. Now turning around, in fact, Mind Control, maybe even looking for Chuan, but Chuan, he's got the creeps onto KuroKy. KuroKy, double strength sap, looks like he's going to be fine. Jax has joined the force as well. Burrow strike onto Moo. Liquid responding as best as they can under the cover of Moonlight. Looks like they're going to be okay, and again, KuroKy comes back in. 3-man decay takes down 1, and even now, they're looking for more on the field, coming out, but oh, here comes Control. Mind. Burrow strikes through.
Oh, one health.
Finish off Chuan.
He had 1 HP.
Oh, Chuan HP. Made it out. Liquid responding nicely to Newbee's attempts at a rotation down there. 2-1 at the moment. Liquid are going to have to get themselves back to base. This is going to give a bit more space for Timber, of course. Mid lane, How ready to move in. Farder actually hasn't got a lead for 3 seconds, and How he does have an Omni stash. Farder, he's got to juke this.
There we go.
Leap comes off cooldown just in time. And a very, very close call there for Farder.
It's hard to chase in that situation. You need the phase boots completed, I think, for How to be able to get that kill. He only had the 1 blade of attack, so a little bit unfortunate, but still doing very well in his lane. Obviously, Fata's beating him by a little bit, but sending Fata back to base would pretty much allow How to catch up. No real issue. Should be able to secure the 6-minute rune as well. So Newbee with still a better early game than we saw previously. The difference is that...
I'll take your tribute.
It's nice. I mean, How's just pulled himself an invis, and he's still got that Omni. This, he could certainly set something up with this one.
I mean, if he goes into the jungle or looks for any solo kill, he should be able to find it. The other option is he can TP bottom, and he can just pop the invis and then look for a counter kill there as well.
Mind Control, of course, still in a very good place, but at the same time, Moo has caught up on the Timbersaw. Even CS at the moment. Moo level 6 as well, so the killing potential is certainly amped up. So Kaka hitting 3, didn't have the pointing glimpse earlier, now he does. So the catch potential is going to be even greater down on this bottom lane. bo3's headed back over though to join the force of mind control. Make sure that Liquid can keep the control that they have had on the lane. Jumping in, but already TP's coming in. How? Immediately joining the fight. He's looking for a chance to use the Omni. Hasn't quite got the mana with the bolt charge. Now he's got enough. He's invis as well. But not quite the usage of the invis into an Omni slash he'd maybe hoped for, as Liquid just backed themselves away. And Howard just make the long journey back towards mid with that invis rune. And doesn't look like he's going to find the kill that he wanted at all with that rotation.
That was a really bizarre chain of events. Like, if anything, you bait your teammates and you just use the invis to force them to overcommit, and then you just get a free spin or a free omni, and instead he just literally ran at them. I don't know if he thought he used the invis, but that was definitely not the play.
As you can see, just little movements like that. It's going to allow Fodder to getting to a point where he's nearly 1k ahead of Hal when it comes to net worth. Top lane, Jarek's doing his best to create space from the Timberman. It's working out so far.
I mean, he's going to hit level 6 at what, like 9 minutes? 10 minutes? It's going to be really nice for Jarek. And this Twan...
It's not managed to achieve that much.
Yeah, Twan's Chen is not really... I mean, he's gotten 1 kill for his team, which is great. But he's not really able to apply pressure anywhere else. And the thing is, it's really hard to gank Morphling, but you can pressure the lane.
Fodder jumps in. Easy kill for the Mirana. And the ping immediately comes out from Newbee. They know there's going to be a ward around on that high ground. Fodder, free solo kill. Top lane, ping's coming out. Twan, he's got the positioning. He may be able to punish Jerax. They have the detection. Jerax goes for a TP from Invis. The flame break knocks him out. Well, Hal's presence as well. They'll take down Jerax, Moonlight Shadow or not. Now with a good army as well on the top lane, Newbee could look to try and pressure in this safe lane of Liquid and shut down this area of the map, make it a little bit harder for Matumbaman to have as much space as he'd hoped for to farm up. They're going to react Liquid, of course, by just bringing Matumbaman down to the bottom lane, keeping him away from Newbee's aggressive push.
Structures are fortified.
And already, yeah, Moo was the last man left, but realizing he doesn't want to stick around for this, especially with Mind Control fishing around in the tree line. See if there's any stragglers left behind by Newbee. Looks like it will simply just be the tier 1 for the tier 1 trade at this point of the game, and in a game where the early game is certainly looking better for Newbee in comparison to how game 1 was, but at the same time Liquid have certainly got their strengths. Fodder, of course, on the mid Mirana. We can expect to see good timing on the Aghanims with this beginning, unless Newbee put any attention towards that mid lane. There's certainly a lot of space being given at the moment from Mirana. Liquid now heading up top as Newbee pushing onto the tier 2. We'll see if they're able to do anything about this. I mean, Newbee's strong. Obviously with the Chen, it's very effective.
I mean, they're getting some damage in the tower, but they might get punished here for staying too long.
So they're just going to try and clear out the Chen army. And they're going to find it as well. They'll take down creeps. Now, he moves the tombstone.
Kaka is only level 4 right now. It's 10 minutes in. You really want your supports to be a higher level by now. Having Static Storm is going to be huge. Having higher levels of the Glimpse to make sure that you punish and can abuse them.
They might get a catch on the back line. The burst strike onto Moo. How? He's going to react by moving forward with the Blade Fury, but Jackson, the Demonic Purge, used to kite How up. He's still got the Omni though. He's going to jump first. Only a few slashes, of course, at this stage of the game. Not quite enough damage. KP still moving forward. Gets the lasso on Tafana and the Blade Fury as well. They should be able to finish off the Mirana. Fodder trying to get out. Won't quite make it. Takes down the ban in return. How? Surrounded by 3. It's a 2-for-1 trade for Liquid. And it looks to be even better. How? He's left the kitty cat up on the high ground. And Matumbaman, 1v1 in carry versus carry at the moment. At the same time, Twan TP's out in front of Liquid. And now all that's left for How is to just run away. Matumbaman waveforms forward, finishes off the kill. And that's going to be the 3rd one he's picked up this fight. A fantastic fight for Liquid in the terms they get so much for the Morphling there, and that one engagement puts Matumbaman at 6k net worth at this 11-minute mark.
It was a very disjointed fight. Matumbaman was pretty much on the opposite side of the rest of his team, just fighting the Timber, kills him eventually. And they commit a lot there. It seemed like there was some miscommunication.
Oh, and I thought I would just walk in, and Kaka, no chance of getting away from being hit from an arrow like that. And Liquid, certainly with that fight in the way that, you said yourself, it was always going to be risky for Newbee trying to get that kind of a push done at this stage of the game. And it's hurt them pretty hard in this early stages.
It's because they feel very pressured. They know their lineup is not going to scale as well as Liquid's. Even with an Undying on your team, like the Morphling is going to be a huge nuisance. Arrow going to be off the mark here. But yeah, Liquid's lineup is just, in my opinion, straight up better during the late game, especially with the addition of the Chen. That hero just falls off really hard when you don't get the objectives, and every tower except for the tier 1 safe lane is still standing for the side of Liquid. Chuan, he is level 6 now though, and he's getting closer and closer to that mech. That's like the only reason I imagine they draft the heroes, because they want something to pressure lanes really hard. They recognize that Disruptor is a weak lane support, and just having something to be able to pressure is necessary, not only a natural mech carrier, but it's not really working out for them so far.
You can see a smoke from Liquid as well, ready to make a movement into Newbee's jungle. Jarex and Fada coming in. Chuan could be the one to pay the price here, as indeed Jarex finds the setup. There looks to be no help for the Chen here at the moment as they're chasing down Matuma, turning up the fight as well. Looks to get a bit more gold in his back. It's going to be Fada getting the kill. Moo as well caught out. And again, Liquid playing this early stage of the game very nicely indeed. Newbee unlikely to want to respond to this. I mean, How has got an invis, Omni Slash at the ready as well. If a member of Liquid comes apart from the pack, maybe he can get a pick off. He's just going to keep hanging around, get the intel for the team.
Under attack. Radiant structures are
Liquid
fortified.
looks like they won't be punished for this, and just waltzing across the map as well. They may even find another. I mean, Kaka, he's on his own, and Liquid just walking around the map, taking kills wherever they want.
This is the same Liquid we saw in game 1. The difference is that this time around they can actually hit objectives. So this is a really, really bad situation for Newbee at the moment. They have their ultimates available. The problem is, KP's blink, it's 13 minutes in, he's still like 600 gold away. Whereas the Sand King just completed it.
Oh, and again, Liquid. They're just walking around. Newbee, one after another, getting picked off alone. And as you said, with the progression that the bat was looking for, KP and his eyes on the blink dagger, it's going to be painful. 12 for 3 early stages. And as you said, this is certainly going to be a very different scenario in terms of Newbee being able to swing this one around after a start like this.
Newbee don't even really have the greatest of wave clear this game. Like, sure, the Timber's fine and everything, and you can use Firefly and Batrider.
And out. Oh, he's immediately, the combo is there. Is he going to get a chance to get out? No, Blade Fury is still on cooldown. He's going to run. It'll come up in a second. They've got the Hand of God. And only just getting himself back. Liquid continuing to chase with the TP's coming out. Oh, Decay nearly does it. Now very lucky to get away with his life here. We'll see if Newbee are able to bite back. They're moving forward, but detection isn't going to be there on the outer bounds. As Liquid able to play around and Kaka burst it down. Liquid, if they can get anything more yet. Demonic Perch on move. Marshall hasn't got quite enough mana though for a burst. I bet it doesn't matter. The burst from Liquid between the combination of the Soul Catcher and Matuma Man. 14 for 3. Things looking very, very nice indeed for the side of Liquid. And we can see what the Juggernaut House, 6.7k, he's up there. But the rest of the team and Newbee, they certainly are. The core is taking a massive hit and falling hugely behind at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's a very lopsided performance so far in favor of Liquid. The Morphling is going to be extremely difficult to deal with this game. He has a Link-ins well before the Blink Daggers coming out on the KP bat. That's already a big enough problem, honestly. And in addition to that, still the Chen hasn't really done enough, like nowhere near enough.
On top lane. Oh boy, he gets the Omni off in time to jig off some of this damage. But they just turn around and bring him down. Liquid again. They're finding so much, and Newbee, they're coming out a little bit too much, it feels, on their own. And especially the big cores as well. And as we were saying, Jug, he's one of the shining hopes at the moment for Newbee in terms of his farm, but if Liquid are able to kill him just like that when he's out of position, it's going to be very hard for Newbee to bring this one back round.
They needed to pretty much play the game that Liquid played in the first match in the first 10-15 minutes. Just try to go for kills, try to pressure, put Liquid in the uncomfortable position, but they weren't able to do any of those things. So now Liquid are just in a fantastic spot. They have a really good core matchup. They have a Mirana and a Morphling against pretty much just a Juggernaut.
Oh, look at this up top again. An arrow from Fada connects.
It was not luck.
And it's It's turning into a little bit of a slaughterhouse here for NewBee, as they are losing heroes left, right, and center. It really does feel like a repeat of the start of Game 1. But as we've been saying since the draft, Liquid, they've got certainly a bit more of their bases covered, and they do have push potential and ways to utilize this lead that they've created, as opposed to what they had in Game 1. Mid lane, Tumberman coming in looking for Hal. Static Shot, it's not going to control Matumba. And the Liquid! No chill whatsoever. The perfect plays coming out time and time again. And they're not even done, they're hanging around on the sideline. How? You don't want to come out, son, because they're going to be able to jump you on the back line. They're looking for trial first.
Oh my god.
He's trying to get himself back to base. Liquid, GG. It's all over. It's all over. And what a way for Liquid to come back after the mishaps of Game 1. They asked you, they said, Andy, would they be able to compose themselves, bring it back? But absolutely tenfold from Liquid. The draft was there. We said it at the start. We knew it would be strong with this combination of SD, Sand King, Mirana. There's a reason why those three heroes are hot material at the moment. Finishing it off with the Undying, just like we saw from eHome. And then, of course, Matumberman Morphling. It's a pick that they'll always feel comfortable on falling back on, fitting into any kind of line.